everyone. We're so excited you're
Hello.
here. Hey, what an exciting day this is. We have another one of our teachers. Leslie, would you like to introduce her?
I would love to introduce her. Diana Baumbauer. I've actually known Diana for a very long time, and she has been creating her dolls for um, over 30 years. We didn't say exactly how many years, but it's over 30 years. And she, like myself, is also self-taught, which I think is really cool. And then she spent years developing her own unique style, and she uses this as an approach to express it through her doll making. And one thing that I think is really cool is her work really invokes a sense of play and joy. And Adele and I were talking about this. All the teachers that we are interviewing, joy is always in there. So I think that is like one of the big connections that all of us have is bringing joy into the world. So without further ado, let's bring Diana on.
Hi,
Hi.
Diana.
Hi.
Hi.
Great to have you here.
You guys.
We're so happy you're here. Yay for us. Yes. And Diana, tell you're in California, right?
Yes.
So, okay, great. Yes.
In Long Beach.
Yes.
It's not quite Los Angeles, but we're really close. We're within a stone's throw. So
Yes. Yeah. Great. Well, we are thrilled that you are part of our teaching team, and you will be working in cloth for everybody, which is like really fantastic.
yeah.
And so we wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and then people feel free to comment, or as this interview is going on, feel free to ask questions of Diana because we'll have access so that we can see those. And Adele, with her lot of her tech savvy, will put the questions up on the screen for everybody to see. Yay, Adele.
Yay.
Diana, how did you start making art?
Okay. I was thinking about this as we were talking before, and one of the things one of my very first memories about art being something that you could do and not just something that you go to the store and get was when I was a little kid. For my mother's birthday, my dad bought her an art course. And it started from learning how to sketch, doing still lifes, and painting. So I got to watch her actually work through this whole process to get from the very beginning of the idea and onward. And then she kind of put it down and I picked it up and I started playing with it. And I think somewhere in my pile, I might still have one of the books. So that's a long time ago. But then after that, we got involved in 4-H. And that's where I learned most of my sewing skills. And they had crafts, and you could go to the county. They have like a whole thing with the county. You go in there and you can pick out all these different crafty things that you can do. And that's what I did for a long time was, building up that. And I kind of migrated over into like 3-dimensional art instead of making garments. And that's when I started making dolls. And there was at one point in high school, so this still goes way back, but at one point in high school, I wanted to learn how to carve, which is the subtractive way of making something rather than the additive way. And I had made a Queen Anne doll that I'd shown Leslie, but I had made this Queen Anne doll, and she won a ribbon at the state fair. So it's like, yay! And that little doll has gone through a lot. When I took her to college with me, and the dorm caught on fire, so she's been through fire and water damage and all kinds of things. But she's still hanging in there with me. So that's kind of how I got started, and the bug kind of bit, and there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting, Diana. What inspires you and motivates you to create your art?
I think anything. It's kind of like when I think the difference between people who enjoy art and enjoy getting their hands dirty with art and trying different kinds of things is that we just see all kinds of opportunities no matter where we are. You know, you could be going into a fabric store is like, oh, I can make, oh, you know, we're doing that. Or you can take a walk around the neighborhood, especially when the flowers are in bloom, or in the fall when the colors change. Those are the things that just kind of trigger it. And then you run home and you make sketches, or you keep notes with you, or you record it in your phone, so that it's just pretty much anything. But I think for motivation, I like taking classes. Part of it helps build my skill, but I'm with, whether it's online that I've noticed, or in person, it kind of pushes you forward. You know, you've got that group energy that kind of supports you, and you can kind of ride that. And that's kind of where it comes from. But you
That's
have to be
great.
open.
Yes, I love that. I think, you know, and like you were saying, artists see, a lot of artists see, it's all over the place. It's with you everywhere. And I think that's kind of like the artist's mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be you're looking at in illustrations in a book, magazines. You know, you're sitting in the dentist's office and you're flipping through something.
Yeah.
That it's just, and I think, and I know a lot of people are on, you know, social media, but if you tag pieces where you just see people's art, that's an
Hmm.
incredible source of just feeding your. I mean, I've got so many folders of just images.
Right.
Nobody else does that, right? So,
No, not at
Yeah.
all.
so I mean, it's just now we have all these
It's like
opportunities.
it's like getting lost. Yeah, it's like getting lost in Pinterest. It's the same
Oh,
thing.
geez.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. And
So
is there a specific element of your art that you enjoy working with the most?
I keep going back to fabric. That's the one and I think it's because that's where I learned. That was the first thing that I learned to use.
Yes.
And so that's always my go-to. But I've kind of gotten a little more comfortable using all kinds of different materials, whether it's paper, clay. The wood
Hmm.
thing becomes a little more problematic now because, you know, you have to,
Yes.
doesn't work for me as well. But the clays, the fabric overlays, trying different things, I'm a little more comfortable with it than I was in the past. And then I
Yes.
can incorporate more materials. And that's why I take classes. But a comfort zone is to always go back to cloth. And then, like, when I'm teaching, I usually just teach it in cloth because it's an easy resource for people to get.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Diana, why do you make art? What drives you to make your art?
Well, it's I had written this down. I said, I can't not do it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I
And
think we understand that part.
yeah,
Yes.
and I for a long time I thought it was just weird. It's like, well, I make dolls. You know, why can't I do something like paint or be a photographer? You know, because that's what calls to me. And but it's like I know people who are authors and they just can't not write.
Right.
It's like when you hear them on an interview and they talk about this character just takes over. And then when I talk to different doll makers, they'll say, well, this doll, she's telling me what she wants.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's the
Yes.
same thing. It's just a different medium to express that desire that that I have to get it out there.
Yes. Yes.
So
I
very,
find the same thing that you know, I work in cloth and clay, but
mhm.
in cloth is my main thing. But it's like, how can you not do it? You know, you have something that is inspired within you, and so it
Yeah.
has to come. I mean, it's it's it has to come out. I mean, it just has
Well,
to.
and I think there was kind of a bump in my road early on, and I was doing some major kind of like cleaning out. And I
Mhm.
had some well-wishing friends saying, "Oh, you don't need that anymore. You know, that's
Oh,
part of your past. You don't really need it. You know, just get rid of it." And I was in such a mental state. It's like I knew they were helping. It's like, okay, now I find out some of those pieces were like first editions.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like, oh no. But that's when I knew that that's who I am, and
yeah,
that's how I express.
yeah.
So, sometimes we need that little kind of, bump in the road to get us to understand that this is how life works.
Yes, and
Right.
I agree with you. I feel like a lot of times it's the removal of something, then that's when you really notice that it really belongs in your life. I mean,
Right.
because you notice it's gone. And then what? for you, what is your connection that you have with your art?
It's just it's well, like I said, it's kind of part of who I am.
Mhm.
And I know that you probably have the same thing. You'll make something and somebody that looks like you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's absolutely no way you can undo that. It just kind of expresses
Yes.
that style of who you are. But I think part of it is also that it is my avenue to, or excuse or reason to explore other opportunities, to kind of go into that parallel world where there are other things out there going on that, the workaday thing just, it's kind of void of or sterile.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does bring up that sense of joy, because I
Yes.
mean, it's like you go to a museum or to a
Mhm.
garden, and there is
Mhm.
just this wonderful sense, and other people say, I just see a painting on the wall.
Right.
And it's like,
Right.
no, you don't. You see the
Yeah.
strokes and you see all the stuff. The
Yes.
whole world builds up in your head.
Yes.
So that's what it means.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. I loved hearing all these stories because it just seems like we hear it repeatedly through all the artists, the same feelings. It's and I feel it too when I hear the artists talking about it. Um, overall, though, Diana, what does your art mean to you? Just overall, what does your art mean to you?
I think it's my sense of belonging to,
Mm.
and I get this, like when I've talked to different artists before, regardless of what their medium is, it's they kind of started as this kind of little nerdy guy out on the outside, or you felt like you weren't completely part of that group because you did see the world a little bit differently.
Mhm.
And so my art reminds me that, yeah, this is kind of a unique thing that we're given. This is that gift that lets us shine and feel comfortable and reassure ourselves to be comfortable in our own skin, regardless of what the outside world says to us or about us. And that is what it really means to me. It's like my grounding base. So
I love that because like for you, cloth, and for Adele, clay.
mhm.
Um, um, it is truly it is how you express yourself. It is your words, it is your
Yeah.
sentence, it is your and I love that because
Well, and I think also in this particular case as well, for some of us who we have the day job, and then we do this. This becomes really an essential part of maintaining not as, I don't want to overuse the word balance, because it's really not a balance. It's more, for me, it's more, oh yes, this is who I really am. I'm not that person that does that day
Mhm.
job, that where there are certain protocols that you have to fit into.
Mhm.
Um, but it's, you hear people, you gotta let your hair down, or you gotta
Yeah.
relax, and this is it's just so cathartic
Mhm.
to come home to this kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's my base and it's my foundation,
Mhm.
and it is that buffer against the what other people want to label you as,
Yes. Yeah.
so that I think is probably the deepest meaning for me.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic. And then so you're teaching, and
Yeah.
so why did you choose to teach?
Well, and I had to think about this a little bit. um,
Uh-huh.
it's like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, I got to thinking about it, and I think we've all been to this place where you have to express yourself, so you make art, and then you find different ways of making your art. So then you start doing like this show and tell. Oh, look what I made. And then people are, and it's like, okay, well, show me what you did. So you show them what you did. Well, how did you make that? So you start
Mhm.
telling them how you made it, and next thing you know, it's like you're teaching them how you made
Yes.
it. So
Yes.
that's kind of how it kind of evolved from
Yes.
being excited and enthusiastic about something I made and wanted to share to, teaching people how to do it.
Yes.
It's so, yeah. And it's interesting. And I've heard this from other people, but it's so true that when you're teaching, it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship you have with your students because they teach you back.
That's right. Yes.
And that part of it that's what really makes it worthwhile. I mean,
Yes.
it really, really does. So that's why I teach.
Well, that's good. And we're so glad you're teaching for us at the Art Summit. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I also find that, when you design a pattern, when any of us who are teachers design a pattern, and then your students come in and it was total different materials, total different colors. I mean, you would never even envision putting all that together, and I find that absolutely fascinating. So,
yeah, I love it, and I think when somebody's trying something from a different discipline and they want to bring that into it and they share with everybody, it just bumps that energy level up just that much more. So that where did you get that? I need, because we do that all the time in the classes.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And so that, I think it's directing it and kind of, moving it forward and allowing that kind of thing to happen, that energy to happen with that space.
Yes.
And I think part of it with the teaching too, going back to the dolls that I'm teaching, I've always done like the beginner stuff. Not because I can't do more than beginner stuff, but because there are people who really want to try something new, and there's some really incredible artwork out there, and they are totally overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed by it, like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So I hope that the dolls that I make are they're attractive enough to the student that what ends up happening is it gives them the confidence they need to take that next step. So I'm helping them with that foundation and that confidence to be able to make something that's fun, and it's like, oh, look at this, I can make a bunch of these, this is so cute, and then take that and go, oh, look, I learned how to do this, now I can do that one over there, and I have more confidence to do that one. So that's kind of the premise of why I make the dolls at the level that I make them, because I want to see more people, doing this stuff, and I've seen some really nice stuff coming out from very young artists. So it's very encouraging. But that's kind of where I'm at with it, is just to, help them move forward with what they want to do.
Well, we're really go ahead, Leslie.
I'm sorry. I think that I think there's such a magic in the discovery of I can do this, or and the learning of it. So we appreciate you bringing that specific area to this conference, to the summit, because it opens the door to anybody, anybody that's wanted to try it, or and any age too. So I think that,
because and in the past I've had first-time doll makers who were quilters. So it's like they've used what they've had and go, oh, looky here, I can do my quilt now. It's in 3 dimensions.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So that's why.
I love it.
It's great that we're able to offer all the different skill levels at the Art Connection Summit. And I think there is such a need to help those beginners get started and not feel intimidated, to take a class. And thank you so much for offering that level, because we needed it.
Yeah, and they're fun, and I've taught the little pixie before in person, our old go-to peacemakers.
Yes.
So I've taught it several times, and it was, like I said, this is usually with people who had never made it.
Would you like to show her, Diana?
Absolutely. So
that's a good lead-in, isn't it?
Not a great lead-in. Is a segue time. So let me see. I know we're all trying to learn how to, and you should know how to do this if you've done puppets, but it never. Okay, So let me see. Here's the pixie. We get her zeroed in here a little bit. And very, very simple little face. Very, very, you learn how to do like the little hands with like pipe cleaner armature. And then the legs, let's see, go around here this way. And how they get attached with little yo-yos. So it's things that are familiar, but there's not a whole lot of stitching. And the stitching in the face that is here is really simple. You get a great effect with very, very few stitches. And that kind of gets them going.
Yes.
So
That's nice.
that's the little pixie.
Yeah.
And
Love
you know,
that.
everything's jointed and the head
Yes.
turns. So you get all these neat little effects with something
Yes.
very simple. So that's this one. You want me to
Yeah.
show you the other
Sure,
one then?
go. Absolutely.
So
Show it
and
off.
this one, it's like I'd had her on the desk. And that kind of goes back to the question about, you know, what inspires me. Old sketches and old notes that I had taken due to inspiration. And that was this one. And this is the Beanbag Betty. And so the only thing that's kind of different with this is that the hair is felted on.
Mhm.
And the rest of it is relatively simple. It's a stump body. It has, you know, beans or pellets in the legs and in the arms. That's why it's a bean bag. And then you have the little feet. The only other thing about this one, which is a little bit, you know, interesting for it, you have like nice little hands. They have like a little tiny armature in them,
Mhm.
so that you can, you know, you can bend them a little bit if you want. The face, you have the stitching in here,
That's
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
which is, it's kind of a trapunto type of a stitching.
Mhm.
And that's it. And the rest of it is just, you know, doing the face around it and like little yo-yos or little trim decorations for it.
Yeah.
But the idea behind this is that you can take something that looks like a really nice little doll and it's a bean bag. And if
Yeah.
you even use it as a doorstop, like the old frog wanted to. But those, you know, they're simple and they're confident builders, but they're also kind of cute.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fun. I mean, and
They're
the nice thing, you know, about this is you don't always have to create something that's like super, super hard for it to be like rewarding and fun. You
Right.
know, I just think, and I can't wait to see the different colors that people come up with. That it'll
Yeah.
be so much fun.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was going to share too is that when I was putting the patterns and the videos together, since this one was already made, I'll show you the other beanbag. She's really colorful. I thought, oh, this is really going to pop in the photographs. And see,
Oh yeah.
so see,
Yeah.
and because the fabric, they're both muslin, but they're different. She has a different shaped head, which also goes to your point that a lot of times with you know, the student, depending on the fabric they use, they're going to get something that might be a little bit different in its shape and size. And this one actually has real beans in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it does have it, you know, it does have a little bit more weight to it, but it just shows you how different how different
Yeah.
we are in bringing different things in, and it's like, oh, I can do that, and the
Yeah.
goal is always, you know, like with the scrap pixie, it's scraps.
Yeah, yes. And especially now, that's like so wonderful because, you know, a lot of us aren't going out. And so we're digging into our own stashes. And so this is like perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get to use the stuff they have, and they don't have to go out and find exotic supplies.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Really
Well,
wonderful.
that's great. You're going to give them a nice base to start with, and then they can take off from there, which is great.
Absolutely.
That's great. Thanks so much, Diane.
You're welcome. This has been absolutely so much fun.
Yes. And I have to interject. I see that there's a comment from Julie McDermott.
Yeah.
She wants to know where all your kitties.
But yeah, every once in a while when I'm talking, you'll see one walk behind.
Yes.
Well, because it's kind of it's like, okay, where I'm living right now, I do live close to the beach, which sounds kind of nice, but my beach faces south, so it gets a little warm. And and I don't have air conditioning, so when the heat kind of rises up, the cats kind of conk out.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because
Definitely.
they want to join in a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. I just had mine come in here a little while ago. I had to put it on mute. He was coming in here to greet us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And usually it's like, oh, you're talking. Well, they're like, like mine are like little children. They want to join in.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And so if it was a little bit cooler, I'd probably open up the front door and let them go outside, and then it would be nice and quiet.
Yeah.
They're out. They're just
Well, we're excited that you're part of the Art Connection, and we are so looking forward to opening our registration on Monday. So we'll be sending out a notice pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So September 7th, opening day. Yay for everything and all the work that has been put in. And all the
they go in there and look at everything.
I know, and there's so much. So we have our beautiful, wonderful teachers, and we have excursions from around the world, and we have presentations, educational presentations. There's a lot of stuff there, so it's going to be really fun. Yeah.
And then we have some surprises. Sorry. We have delays on this. We have some surprises too that we're just not revealing quite yet, but we've got those coming too.
Yep, definitely. Yep. It's going to be a fun time. Any questions that you have for us, Diana, or any comments you want to make?
I don't know that I have any questions. I guess part of it is doing the live classrooms after, when they're posted, and you have like each lesson that's released per day. And I know that as a receiver on that side of it, how it has worked, but how it works for the teachers to be able to share whether I know that I should open up a classroom or not.
Okay. Well, I'll email you.
I missed part of that. I missed part of what she said.
Oh, whether or not how would I know that I should probably do a live session on like a Facebook live?
I know that next week we're going to get together, and Leslie's putting some information for all of the teachers to understand how it needs to work for you. If you want to do Facebook Live, you just need to let us know, and we'll get everything set up and walk you through what needs to be done.
Yeah, because it's kind of with students may or may not have questions, and it's like if they have questions, is it something that we can resolve, with the feedback going back and forth, or is it something that should trigger a live session with the group, or just a touch base? Let's all get caught up and circle around and see what's going on with everybody. And
well, we're going to have a session with all the teachers, whoever wants to join in, and we're going to have this discussion about everything. So we're just taking step by step right now. Our main goal is these next 2 days is to get everything set to open up on Monday, and then we'll go to the next step. So we're taking them one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But we're all going to start clicking in on the 7th to check out.
Yes.
Well,
it's gorgeous. It looks really. Adele did all the graphics, and it's absolutely stunning. Yeah.
So we're real excited. I can't wait for all the sales pages to open up, and where they can see where all the teachers sent in their intros to their classes, and it all looks very, very nice. And I'm just excited. Leslie and I keep talking about this every day. We can't wait for it to open.
I know. Yeah.
And then you're going to sit there at the other side going, "Wow."
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So we're just floating, and then we got the big push to for the big day, which is going to be in October. So then we got that push. So it's like we got a lot to do. Yeah.
Well, Diana, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so thrilled that we get to bring the teachers to everybody ahead of time, because I think a lot of times it's really nice to get a feel for the teacher's personality. You know what I mean? So, yes. So we're excited for your class. We're just excited that everything is happening. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I am so looking forward to this. This will be a great adventure.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and answering all of our questions. I know that some of them probably didn't make it today, but they'll be able to see the recording, which is they always go back and
And
they'll
that's
post questions.
yeah,
Yes.
especially for Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's true too. Yep. Yeah.
So I really appreciate it, and I thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to doing the classes with everybody. And just like I said, this is going to be a fun adventure.
Yes,
Yes.
it will be, and it will be that much more versed on other things that we'll be able to do in the future too. So that's what we're excited about as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Looking forward to it, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye bye, Diana. Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, that was fun.
I know, isn't that great? I just love I love having everybody come on and and Adele and I, before we were going on live, we were talking about that we find it so interesting that each of us in our own way knows all these teachers personally. And so, and our paths have crossed paths before, and it's such a beautiful community. And I think that's the one thing that's really wonderful about this is everybody is really coming in with their heart, and
Right.
really, and I really appreciate that in all the excursions and teachers, and everybody has really stepped up and even way out of their comfort zone to make this happen. So,
Well,
it's just
if you
really nice.
remember, Leslie, when we were trying to make a decision on the name of the summit, we kept going back and forth with this and that. And then we started thinking, well, our art encompasses a lot of mediums. So that's how we wound up having the Art Connection Summit, because we are connected. All of these people that are in our summit, whether it's the excursion or the educational part or whatever the online classes that are being offered, we're all connected. So that's how we came up with the title of Art Connection.
Yes, yes. And I think that's the beautiful thing of art is it does, it reaches across even language and lands and everything to, bring us all together. So I love it. It's great. Yes. So
Yes,
Monday,
I
Adele, is
think
our
I
big
think
day. Sorry.
yes, that's okay. We're having these delays in the
Yes.
broadcast, so we're sorry. We're stepping over each other.
So Monday's our big day.
Yes.
Yes, yay. So if you guys, if you see this as a recording, feel free to step in and ask any comments or any questions because we will look back on this. So we're excited about the whole thing. And we feel that what we're bringing you is something unique and something that will be fun. And as the returning theme that we keep finding is joyful. So it will be a good time.
Yes, that's so true. And I also wanted to state that all of our classes are either pre-recorded or PDFs, and even our excursions as well. So if don't worry, because you'll be able to go back and see it. So you don't have to be sitting on your computer at 11:30. You can leave and then come back and watch the video and at your own pace, because we know that 4 days is pretty well jammed with a lot of online classes and excursions and educational videos. But everything's pre-recorded, and we're excited about that part as well.
Yes, yes. All right,
So-
Adele. Well, that was another great interview, wasn't it?
It was. I really enjoyed it. And they just, all the teachers are bringing so much to the table, and we so appreciate them working so hard. And it was kind of funny because I saw Paula post, she says, I finally am able to tell you what I've been working on. I think everybody was anxious to let it go.
Yes.
So we appreciate everybody holding back.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we had to get all our ducks in a row, everything linked up and everything going, and we're set now. So, yep, definitely.
Yes, we are. So thank you everyone for being here, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, thank you guys.